And let's get started. Let's dig in this episode of Taking Your Power Back. And yes, there is a play on that word power, POWHER, if you haven't read the title of the episode. And it's now March, and March is Women's History Month. And of course, I want to honor that. You know that I want to make sure that we start the month off really talking about how do we how do we support ourselves? How do we love ourselves as women? How do we honor our history or our her story? How do we honor where we've been, but also where we're going? And so I decided that I wanted to name this episode "Taking Your Power Back," and saying back because we're born honestly with a great amount of power, a great amount of um, gifting and soul energy and love and a lot of things. And the thing is in this human journey, we are so conditioned to accommodate what's happening around us, family dynamics, community environment, that we surrender a lot of our power. We surrender a lot of our light, LIGHT. We surrender a lot of who we are. And I've talked about this many times in solo episodes on remembering yourself and taking ease and all of these things. And so this is really no different. I want to keep building on this. I want to be redundant. I want to be repetitive with this idea of us really getting back to who we are, who we innately are. So yes, this episode is definitely focused on women. Obviously, I'm speaking from the vantage of being over 40. And I want to in this episode to dig into and or offer you actually 4 affirmations, aspirations, values, statements that you can say. I'm currently working on a project that I'll be able to talk much more about later. And so a lot of this content today is derived from the project that's to come. So I hope you enjoy it. But really, what I want us to focus on in is really what do I mean by power, and what are the things that we can do? What do we think things we can do? And areas. There's lots of areas. Sorry about that. Regarding power. I know you heard the ding. I need to make sure that I just turn that off so you don't hear that ding no more. Um, and I hope you did actually hear the ding because then it's going to sound really crazy of me saying that. But at any rate, there's these 4 areas I want you to dig into, but I want you to be thinking of power as it relates to choice. Okay? Think of power in this episode as it relates to choice. So much of our power is derived in our freedom and our freedom of choice. And there's this weird thing that happens where, as we continue to move through life, we continue to meet these kind of human experience goals that we set, which is necessary because our soul is working through the human vessel, right? Um, we somehow start to really believe that it's our role to do quote unquote the right thing, even though our personal choice may be different. And so, what I want to encourage you is to learn how to start really understanding your power as choice and that you can choose the life you want and you can choose to live it. Your power is in so much, it is so much about your choice. And so, for the next 20 minutes, however long we're going to talk for the rest of this episode, which usually is no more than try to make the solo episode shorter. But the focus of taking your power back is choosing the life you want and then actually living it. So, I'm going to offer you 4 things I want you to consider and I want you to think about and I want you to incorporate in your whole um, affirmation practice or aspiration practice or meditative, whatever it is that you're using to hold your values. Consider these 4 things, okay? So, as we're thinking about taking your power back, ladies, and choosing the life you want and living it, I am determined to create the life I desire, is the first thing that I really want you to hold true to your heart. Determination, creativity, desire. Determination, creativity, and desire. These When these three things work together, oh my gosh, they're super duper magical. They're super duper magical when they work together. And if you can begin to start breaking it up in that way, instead of thinking of this whole big, oh my God, I got to choose this massive life, I've got to choose this massive thing that I've got to do, break it up and think of it in terms of, like I just said, the desire, the creativity, and the determination. Okay. Dream, rest, so you have the space to dream, so that you really understand the truth of your own personal desire. Create however you want this to be, however simple, however robust, however you want to lay it out is yours to have. And I use the language of determined so that you can begin to consider this from a more focused space as opposed to this broad. So there's a lot of lifing happen, and it may not be so easy, right? It may not be so easy to go about just creating the life I want. But if you can at least tell yourself, you know what? I am determined though. I am determined. I am intentional. I am focused. I am looking toward doing this as at least my first step. So that's a first step. That's a first affirmation that I want you to breathe in, take in, really focus on in taking your power back. The second affirmation I want you to think about is every day, and yes, I said every day I'm working towards choosing me first. Every day. Choosing me, and we have to allow ourselves to look at these actions in more a baby step and more simplified as opposed to these really big. Choosing me is deciding, you know what? Choosing me is that I am going to make sure that I slot up amount of time to have my lunch sitting down without distraction. That's choosing me first. Choosing me first is I am tired today. I don't think I'm going to be able to go to that activity like I had planned. I will let them know that I will think about and hope to make a future one, but today I'm not. I'm going to go home and I'm going to choose me first. Choosing me first is, I think I'll take a bath instead of a shower because I think that's going to make me feel more relaxed. That's choosing me first. So think of it simply. Don't always think of things really, really massively big because then a lot of times we don't choose it. And not choosing it, you're releasing a bit of your power. The third affirmation that I want you to really take in and digest and ponder on is it is safe to make my life abundant. Mm. So let me say it again, and then there's some key words, two key ones. It is safe to make my life abundant. Actually, it's three key words. The first big word, safe. What I find in myself a lot of times is, am I not doing something because for whatever reason I have some weird fear going on? And it's making me a little anxious. It's making me be avoidant on things. And so it's like, okay, what is this fear really about? And nine times out of 10, the fear is that I simply don't feel safe. I simply don't feel at ease. I can't even get past that to then go to the thing, right? So, our ability to really activate ourselves and to really show up is very contingent on safety. Our ability to speak our voice, our ability to show up in spaces, interact in ways, go for dreams, stability, certainty, all those things are the things that make up safety. So I encourage you as you think about choosing your life and living it and taking your power back is put the language of I am safe. It is okay. Safe is even stronger than just saying it is okay. It's safe. Safe is a connotation of certainty, of security. And so that's why I love that language a lot. So that's a key word in that statement. The other thing is the next big key is abundant. Oh, this is a big lesson I really had to take in 2022, particularly. I did a group business coaching program that was led by a therapist who's also a spiritual coach, and she led me, and I think it was a total of four, maybe women. Definitely three of us we were there every month, but I think in all there might have been a little bit, maybe four or so of us. And every month we worked on our business goals, but we worked from a space of spirituality. So we had our actual business goals and the things, the way we want our business to be built and run and all the things. But we were challenged every month to really put a spiritual lens in things and really get to the source of soul and what was soul really activating in us. And one of my biggest challenges was allowing my soul to show up to point me toward the direction of abundance. I was still so much attempting to build my business based on a scarcity understanding, based on this is going to be too much. I better make this price lower. Based on, I can only maybe do this once because that's just going to be too much. So much of things. I can't do this and that and this because that'll just be too much. That was a really, really common issue that I had. And it took a lot of coaching. It took a lot of the therapist really helping me, who's also a coach, really helping me to understand how scarcity was showing up, and for me to also understand how abundance shows up. And I will say, while it was really, really, really hard for me because it was a mindset shift that I thought I wasn't in until I literally started peeling back the layers and really saw that in fact I was really operating in a scarcity mindset. I had just gotten divorced. I was attempting to shift my business from music to more of this holistic wellness space. And it was just so much change happening. And I thought, okay, well, I have to work from an operations of I don't got very much. I ain't got much. As opposed to I have plenty. I have overflow. I have abundance. But I had to feel safe in that. I've had to feel secure in that. And so it was a lot of mindset work. So I encourage you, if you could relate to what I just explained that was going on for me personally, this is really big to make sure that you are using language of safety and that you're understanding abundance is yours. It always has been yours. Typically, we are pulling from it. We have to live our life with the intention of understanding we have overflow. And I know that at times it completely, utterly doesn't feel like that. On paper, it ain't nothing like that. But again, this is a soul that's attempting to manifest your power. It's attempting to manifest the truth of who you are. It's attempting for you to really, really have a tangible grasp on your worth. So if you minimize that, you are starting way behind the line, way behind the line. So it is safe to make my life abundant as you are choosing the life you want and taking your power back. The last affirmation I want you to absorb, reflect, take in, state is this: I accept that I can release what does not serve my life in a positive manner. Let the church say this again, all right? I accept that I can release what does not serve my life in a positive manner. This is fundamental to choosing the life you want. If we keep holding on to the conditions, we keep holding on to the things that have really nothing to do with the life we actually desire. There is no way we're going to feel a sense of power in that. In fact, it will be the complete opposite: resentment, frustration, irritability, minimalization, indifference. When we are holding on to things that are not really serving us in a direction that is positive, that is abundant, where are we going to have room to have power back? Where is that room? Where is the room for that? So I use the key words I want you to highlight in this whole affirmation, this statement is acceptance. I accept. Because if you all accept, it is sure enough isn't going to happen. So I accept. The release, that letting go, I accept. The release. And that I really, really identify what is not serving me in my life in a positive way. Often that comes in the form of relationships. It comes in the form of habits. What are we using to soothe ourselves? Food, relationships, shopping, social media. What are the things we're using that soothe us because we have all this stuff going on, but in fact is nowhere, no how pushing us toward what we really want in our life? So I'm going to say that one more time. I accept that I can release what does not serve my life in a positive manner. And that may even mean some family relationships. And understand that release doesn't mean necessarily forget or just I ain't ever. Release is a letting go. It's freeing up space. It's creating a different boundary of this. It's just releasing it from the confines of where it sits. The release of certain relationships, particularly when it's family, it's in what I encourage you to think of it and how I do it when I recognize there are certain relationships that need a bit of release. It just means I need a different boundary line for it. I love this person or these people. I love they do mean a lot to me, but it's not serving me right now in the best manner. So I'm going to do a certain level of release so that I can create a new boundary. Food or shopping or these other things, I can't not eat, right? I gotta eat. I gotta eat to live. I gotta eat. Okay. But if I'm using it to soothe and to over medicate me, and overindulgence is doing something else, I have to release that in a way so that it serves me differently, so that it no longer serves the soothing. It serves more, really actually the nutrition and then the pleasantry of food, but just not the only, right? So take your power back. Choose the life you want and live it. And as you have that intention, as you're thinking about it, consider again these 4 affirmations. I'll repeat them. The first, I am determined to create the life I desire. The second, every day I'm working towards choosing me first. Third, it is safe to make my life abundant. And fourth, I accept that I can release what does not serve my life in a positive manner. So enjoy March. Astrologically, some very interesting things are happening in the universe. Lots of really beautiful pushing energy to push us to really shift into our truths and into our purposes. And I just encourage you to use that energy to do that. And as we celebrate Women's History Month, honor yourself, ladies that are listening, and men who are listening. You too can do these affirmations, obviously, right? And also encourage the women in your life, your sister, your mother, your partners, your cousins, your friends, your colleagues, to consider power of what a woman needs gift her with this episode and show, and gift this with yourself too. Really, seriously. These are not affirmations that are exclusive. But I do want to really, in honor of the women listening and in honor of Women's History Month, I want to underscore the importance of us understanding that power is our sense of choice, is our sense of freedom. There's a lot of other ways to define power, but as you listen to this episode, that's the mindset I hope you are in and that I want you to pivot yourself in. So that is all. I hope that you enjoyed it, and we'll be back again next week with a guest as we continue to find our voice after 40. All right, you guys take care.